Dionne Jackson Miller, welcome to Profile.
Thanks, Archie.
So this is an unusual, I love the smile. This is an unusual scenario. You're on the other side of the couch answering questions in this case.
Yeah, that always makes me a little like, what's happening here? This isn't the way things are supposed to be.
Is that intentional for you? You don't give a lot of interviews. You're a very reasonably private person, I would say.
Yeah. You know, when you're talking every day and people hear all about you, I mean, there's no longer any curiosity. You want a little curiosity.
I can understand that. At the same time, there's a lot that people don't know about you. So we know the things we know: journalist,
check,
leader of 2 market-leading programs, groundbreaking programs, All Angles, which bears your name, and Beyond the Headlines as well. You write children's stories. Not extensively, but you've written some children's stories. In fact, won a JCDC gold medal. You're an attorney at law, which you did enter that field to accompany a friend, just as support. We'll get to that story later on. You're a teacher at the university level, and what I've always called in our encounters and work very closely with each other, the perpetual student. So journalism from experience, but zoology, botany, and now law. A PhD in law, in fact. So when you look at
No. Make sure people don't think I have it already. Working towards
a PhD in law.
Yes.
So when we look at all of these things overall, how do you feel about your journey?
Good.
Good?
Yeah, good. I mean, I think the whole point of a journey, I think, is to always have something that you're striving towards, while at the same time you're achieving things along the way that you feel good about. I mean, how could I not feel good about what me and my A-team, everybody who works with me in my A-team, me and my A-team have done on Beyond the Headlines, which has won awards at CBU Caribbean Broadcasting Union, what me and my A-team have done on All Angles, and we've launched a new program, All Angles Investigates, which is kind of sporadic because, you know, we just have a whole heap of things to do, but it's just really exciting work. So in terms of journalism and in terms of, yes, I know you say I'm a perpetual student, which is true, but for me it's part of growth and ongoing growth and development, and to me that's a good thing.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because you have all of these kind of different areas that you've done, but overall journalism seems to have been the area that has clicked the most. When did you have that moment where you're like, yeah, this is the thing for me?
High school. High school. And then I kind of went way off track. You know, I went to UE and I did, as you said, botany and zoology, and then an MPhil in zoology, and I was working at NRCA, which is now NEPA, and I hated it. You know, I was like, you know, when you're somewhere and you hate what you're doing so much, you watch the clock. I remember one particular day I was watching the clock, and the hand moved from the beginning of the 1 to the bottom of the 1. So, you know, say about no time had passed, and yet it felt like an hour. That's the point at which I said, this is not working, I need to find something I like to do.
And what did you go off and do at that point?
Well, I really have to give credit to my husband, because I used to come home every day and cuss. I hate the job and I don't want to be doing this. And one day he said, you know something, I'm tired of this. Go and send out some resume, try find another job. And I just started to send out resumes. And I would say if I sent out 100, 99% of the people either never answer me or say no, because I was trying to get into media at that point with degrees in science. And I find most people are very close-minded. You know?
Didn't have any experience as far as they were concerned.
Yeah, I didn't go to Carimac, I didn't have any experience in a newsroom, so they wouldn't even look at me. And I think personally that's a very unfortunate kind of attitude, because you're locking out so many people with skills who are interested and who can learn on the job. And Carmen Tippling and Eunice Bent, forever grateful to them at Communications Consultants, a PR firm, took me on from them. From there I moved to Radio Jamaica.
But PR was not the thing either.
Well, I was working there for about a year and a half, and it was my entry into writing, you know, and I learned so much from them. But at the same time, I was yearning to do something more hardcore. So when I moved to Montego Bay now, and Huntley Medley, who I had worked with at Communications Consultants, was at the RGR Western Bureau there. He brought me on as a freelance correspondent, and I was like, This is it.
This is the moment. So when you had your first
No,
program,
this is the moment, was the time I first did talk radio. That was the moment.
what did it feel like? This was exposure.
That was exposure. The Sunday afternoon program we used to do at 12:15, Michael Sharp used to host it. He used to move around the island with it. And whenever, Michael was very big on developing talent. So whenever he came into a parish, he would invite the correspondents to come and co-host with him. And the first time I co-hosted with him, that was when I knew this is what I want to do with my life.
This is the moment. This is the thing that I wanted to do.
That felt like home. And this Mondo.
And then, that morphed later on into the creation of the program Beyond the Headlines. But a lot of people don't know that Beyond the Headlines, premiered by then General Manager of Radio Jamaica, Hugh Crosskill, brother of Simon Crosskill, was actually in the middle of the night.
10:30 in the night to 1 a.m. Try booking guests to come on your program at 10:30 or at midnight. So all the live guests used to come on, the ones we could get would come on 10:30. And then there were times when you would call somebody and they would be like, I remember one time a man had agreed to be on the program, and when we called him, his wife was like, he's sleeping and we now wake him up. What kind of time is this you all calling the host? Yeah, we got a lot of that.
Simon Crosskill called this Beyond the Bedclothes.
Yes.
So you, Crosskill, at a point decided to move this program to the middle of the afternoon. What was the context of that overall?
Thank goodness, because he thought we were doing really well. And of course, as you can imagine, we didn't have a huge listenership because most people were asleep. So he moved us to 5 o'clock. And at the time, the only program like that on air was Breakfast Club. Pioneering, groundbreaking, absolutely fantastic program. We were the first drive time program in the afternoon. And it was just like, wow, all of a sudden people knew we were here. And I started hosting with Judith McLaughlin and Mark Thomas until Mark stepped away.
And that was a moment for you as well. This was when you were like, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing I want to do with the rest of my life.
Yeah, but I'd figured that out earlier. It's just that we finally got a decent time slot.
All at that point, you were then just sort of learning different kinds of things. At which point did you, because you've said this before, that at which point did you understand that you liked learning things and that could be sort of satisfied in different areas rather than that you wanted to do this particular kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it just kind of dawned on me. Because remember I said I did 2 degrees in science, went to work at NRCA because that's what you did with a degree in science or zoology. And then at some point, it may have been when I was on my 3rd or 4th degree, that I said, hold on, I actually just enjoy learning. So I'm always doing stuff, the PhD now, but I'm also doing don't tell my supervisor, I'm supposed to be concentrating on PhD now. I promise I am. But along the way, there are all kinds of other short courses because there's just so much going on and there's so much happening in the world that you have to keep up with.
I want to talk a little bit about that passion for learning and where it comes from, and to kind of take the story back into the past and talk a little bit about your parents, your father, your mother in particular, and how that informed how you operate now. But we have to go to a break on Profiled. My guest is journalist, attorney at law, and media trainer Dionne Miller, and we're back with you on the other side of these messages.